Hello, and welcome to the recap by the siblings. I'm your host, Rashad, and joining me today is.
Hey, I'm Rashad.
Hey, I'm Mika.
So, the recap by the siblings is a show where we talk about the TV shows that we're currently watching, and we encourage you to like and subscribe and share, and maybe even tell a friend about the recap show.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get into it. So, currently, I am watching Abbott Elementary, which is streaming on Hulu, and it comes on regular TV on Wednesdays on ABC. So, the synopsis for Abbott Elementary is a group of dedicated, passionate teachers and a slightly tone deaf principal find themselves thrown together in a Philadelphia public school where, despite the odds stacked against them, they are determined to help their students succeed in life. Though these incredible public servants may be outnumbered and underfunded, they love what they do, even if they don't love the school district's less than stellar attitude towards educating children. This is an excellent show. It has been nominated for several and has won several awards. And so far, we're into the third season. We're at the fifth episode. And I am really, really enjoying the character development of this ensemble cast. So Janine Teagues is our principal character. This season, she finds herself away from the classroom, and she is actually working in a fellowship for the school district. In the first two episodes, they did a really cool thing where they grouped the first two episodes together and gave us one full hour, and it really caught us up to speed after the writer and actor strike that took place, which prevented them from doing their season sooner. So they kind of caught us up to speed with some little funny bits about because the show is actually a mockumentary style, so they have cameras in their faces all the time, and so they made up a little thing where the camera people got robbed, so they weren't able to do the show for like 5 months because they needed to save up money to purchase new cameras. So little things like that. And so we are, seeing them continue to grow and develop as teachers. And Janine is, she's really coming into her own. I'm really pleased with how her character is progressing. And then there is Miss Barbara Howard. There is Jacob, and then there's Gregory Eddy, played by Tyler James Williams. He, by far, to me, is the most interesting character. And this season, we are seeing him come into, his self as a teacher. And what's really interesting about that is that he's showing a vulnerable side. There was a funny scene in the first episode where he had to go kind of be seductive to Ava, who is the school's principal, and you could tell it was out of his element, and he kind of like shuddered and was kind of scared and uncomfortable at the end of that scene. And I thought it was funny because I think that he's going to be developing. He's a very straight-laced, come from like a military type style kind of family where everything is very logical and everything is very, very orderly and neat. And he's gonna come out of his shell more this season, I believe, and so he's really one to watch. Overall, I think that this is definitely a great show to watch. It's very funny. The most funniest episode so far was episode 3, which was called Smoking, and it was revealed that Janine smokes weed. And if you look at the type of person that she portrays on as Janine, it was a shock, and people are still, when you read the comments, I'm friends I follow the show on social media and everything, you find that people are very interested and intrigued by her smoking weed. So I would definitely recommend it. It is a funny show, and it's a throwback. It's a throwback to shows from yesteryear, from the 80s and 90s. It's one that you can watch with your family. And so, what show are you watching, Sean?
So the show that I'm watching is called Echo, and it's streaming on Disney Plus. I'll give you a brief synopsis. It says Maya Lopez' ruthless behavior in New York City catches up with her in her hometown. She faces her past, reconnects with her native roots, and embraces the meaning of family and community. So, this show basically follows the character Maya Lopez, or Echo, as she's known in the comics. And if you know about her comic book origin, she has always been tied to the superhero Daredevil. She's kind of being like the antagonist or anti hero. So she's always been against Daredevil in the comics. So, which was interesting when I found out they were making the show, because I'm like, well, she's always been like a minor character. So I was always worried about how much content they would be, able to create with this character. So it's almost interesting. Like, why is she getting the show? Like, her character is interesting enough where they could tell a little bit of her story. She actually debuted in the Marvel TV series Hawkeye. She had a brief little, cameo in that, where she was kind of like uh, anti-hero towards what Hawkeye was trying to do in that show. And they also included in that Hawkeye series Kingpin. Now, Kingpin has always been a Daredevil villain as well. So in this show, it kind of goes into like a brief um, history of her origin. And her origin is interesting because it's almost, now in the comics, I don't know if this, I can't remember if her origin is more supernatural, but in this show they kind of leaned into her Native American heritage and made her origin more supernatural. And what I liked about that, in the first 3 episodes, it almost reminded me of the Marvel Netflix show Daredevil, which Marvel has always been, it's not PG, but it's more family friendly. So when they delved into a more gritty show, a more adult show, people loved that show because it was interesting. Now, it was on Netflix, and they created a whole Netflix universe, which now in the MCU, if people don't know, is now canon. Now, it wasn't in the beginning, because it was like, this is a separate universe from the MCU. So when the MCU was doing all the Avengers and all that, they were saying that that universe was separate from the MCU. So they would make references, but Kevin Feige, who is the executive producer of the MCU, recently came out and said, yes, we're going to count those shows as canon. So, which, as fans of that series, it was interesting for viewers to have those characters back in the MCU. So we go back into the Echo show, where some of the highlights of the first 3 episodes, I felt like those were the strongest of the series. Now, there's only been 1 season. I don't know if it's going to get a second season, but I think they're still in talks about that. But again, like I said before, it reminded me of the street level, gritty type of superhero, which, made the Daredevil series so strong. But after, the first 3 episodes, the last 2 episodes kind of fell off. And there's some backstory behind that, because I know that when they were talking about releasing the series, they kind of changed the release schedule, because there's like, we were originally going to have it episodic, to where they release an episode each week. But then what they did was they released the whole thing at once. Now, people speculated, is that Marvel's saying that they're not confident that this show can't, hold its own. And a lot of people say, yeah, maybe that was the reason, because again, like, if you watch the show, the first 3 episodes, it goes into her origin. It, Daredevil's in the show, Kingpin's in the show, and it's really strong, the first 3 episodes. But then the last 2 episodes, which again, there was rumors where there was supposed to be a 6th episode, but they cut that episode completely out, because they said the story, it just didn't work for that last episode. So, those were my problems, is that, again, you're taking a character who is a minor character. Okay. So it's like you're trying to make a whole show on somebody who doesn't have that much story.
Oh, I see.
And the story that you're telling, yes, it was interesting for, because they told some of her origin in Hawkeye and stuff like that. But after you kind of ran out of material, it's like, well, where do you go from
next?
there?
Yeah.
So that was my biggest problem. Like I said, it wasn't a terrible show, but overall, I thought it was just okay. So I don't recommend it. So,
okay,
Mika, which shows are you watching?
Yeah, well, I'm currently watching The Equalizer.
Yeah.
We are now in season 4. This show started back February 2017. So the first episode of season 4 started back on February the 18th, 2024. It comes on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The network that is streaming on is CBS Network. So tomorrow will be the third episode that is going to be streaming. So I absolutely love this show. You know, I'm a fan of The Equalizer, the movie that starred Denzel Washington. Yeah. So, you know, when I knew that they were coming out with this particular series, I was just head over heels over it. And to see Queen Latifah starring in it, I'm just definitely a complete Queen Latifah fan for sure. So this show is starring Queen Latifah. She plays Robin McCall, who is the main character. Then she has a team, which is starring Lisa Lapiro. She plays Mel. Her husband is Adam Goldberg, who plays Harry. Lorraine Toussaint, who plays Aunt Viola, Leah DeLeon Hayes, who plays Delilah, which is Robin's daughter, and then Tori Kittles, he plays Dante, which he's playing as a cop, and he's kind of like a love interest of Robin, so to speak. So the synopsis of the story is that Robin McCall is an enigmatic woman with a mysterious background who uses her extensive skills to help those with nowhere else to turn. McCall comes across to most as an average single mom who is quietly raising her teenage daughter, but to a trusted few, she is an equalizer, an anonymous guardian angel and defender of the downtrodden who always shows tenacity in her pursuit of personal redemption. So what I love about this show is that it's action-packed. It has girl power, strength, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Her daughter, she's wanting to, when her auntie and her daughter, so Aunt Viola and Delilah, when they come to find out what Robin McCall, Queen Latifah, is doing as being the equalizer, her daughter becomes to have a liking of this. Now, the auntie's kind of, a little, scared for her niece because it's a dangerous job, but her daughter comes to have this liking to where she's wanting to walk into her mom's footsteps. Oh, wow. And so now currently what they're showing is that, well, in the previous season, she was started to learn to get trained because she started to get training from her Queen Latifah's team member who plays Mel. So she started training her how to fight. So now she's been in the gym and all of that. So now what they just got through showing us on episode 2, how she's, contemplating on being in the military, so being around all these people who her mama has had to come in contact with, who's helped different teams, people from her past background of where her and Mel used to train from, she's being exposed to all of this stuff in which she's wanting to see and she's wanting to dive into. And so she's kind of becoming into her being a woman, and she's, getting ready to graduate. But, Robin and Aunt Viola, they really want her to focus on going to school and college and all of that. But she's, seeing her mom in this aspect, she's wanting to be able to be like her mom and be this hero who is able to help people out. And like in the synopsis, this story, it's a continual story, but it shows different aspects of situations that are continually happening with every episode, but it's still like a continual storyline, so to speak, amongst the family and with Dante. So I love the action pack. I love just how, if you're a person who likes investigation and crime and action, I think that you'll love this show. So I do recommend this show. I think if you are a fan of Queen Latifah, I think that you will love this show. The thing that I'm not going to say that I don't like about it, I think it's maybe a little bit of an irritation to me. I think is when it comes to the love interest, when it comes to Robin and Dante. And the reason why is because, a lot of us, we want to be able to see people get together. We like love. We like relationship. We like all of that. And so it's kind of irritating to me in a little bit because, baby, we now 4 seasons in, and I'm going to need y'all to do something. You know what I mean? It's like you have these little innuendos where, they are flirting and that they have a very strong like for each other. They'll do anything for each other. And Dante's become part of this team of them, with Harry and Mel and Robin. He's become part of their team. He's a cop. So they're able to use him in different avenues of how they are helping people who can't really get help by the police officer, so to speak. But anyway, this love interest that they have, it's like it's there if they sprinkle it in, but it's not really full effect to where it's really going anywhere.
Yeah,
so it's like
the same thing for Abbott Elementary. You have Gregory, Eddie, and you have Janine Teagues, and they flirt and they go back and forth.
Right. It's like, come
like
on now. What are we? Right. Exactly. Like what are we doing?
I actually like the slow burn because in shows past, it showed a building up to their coming together. And sometimes to me that's the most interesting part. Yeah. Is how they come together.
Yeah, because I mean, they are showing the friendship. They did show that they had to develop a trust when it came to each other, because once again, he's a cop in her background. She's, from the military background, and she's not working just like for like a regular on the force type deal. She's kind of like the undercover where people are going to call her from the streets.
Right.
Can she come help me? Because I can't go to the police officer to help me because they not doing with, no shade to police officers, but they, I need somebody who can kind of come around the corner and help me in this aspect. So it kind of took them a little time to kind of like finally get on the same page because he really wasn't feeling her at first. So to see them, to finally come together and start to build this friendship, and now he's come part of the team. They're sharing life with each other, and all thing. I think it is a beautiful thing. I just personally kind of just want to see this kind of move a little bit along this way.
Then you have to think too. Once they get together, then what's going to happen after?
Yeah, I guess that's part of it being a TV show.
So they have to build it up for us. And sometimes seeing the building blocks, the development of the relationship.
For sure.
Interesting.
So I'm patient. So overall, yes, I definitely recommend this show for everybody. So I think it's a great show. I think you can watch it with your kids. I don't, all the things. So,
all right. Well, good things from our shows here.
Yes.
We want to encourage you guys, if you have shows for us that you would like us to watch and talk about, please be sure to put them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you
guys. Thank you so much for your for your support of us. And with that being said,
see you soon.